spiritual abuse. That's been very common, and it's so unfortunate when you weaponize something that is scripture that's meant to lift a couple up in marriage, and instead somebody uses it to justify becoming a tyrant in the relationship. And it involves things like not allowing her to have her own spiritual practice, or shaming her, or ridiculing her for it, or forbidding her to attend religious gatherings, or to share her faith with her children, or using the Bible to justify abuse, saying you must submit to me. But it's contrary to biblical principles. We look at Ephesians. There is never any permission given in the Bible for a man to treat his wife with disrespect, dishonor, or abuse. Husbands are supposed to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself, it said. After all, no one ever hated his own body, but he feeds and cares for it just as Christ does the church. So these are things that you can refer to if a woman is saying, oh, but, I'm a Christian. I know he's making me live in fear, and he's frightening me, and there's a lot of financial and emotional abuse going on, but I'm a Christian, and I believe I need to keep the marriage together. But here are some other passages you may refer to. In Luke, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's a basic golden rule. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them, from Colossians. Or, this is my commandment, from John, that you love one another as I have loved you. And then, of course, this standard that's read at marriage ceremonies, whether or not someone is religious, look at the wisdom contained in this passage of Corinthians. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. It's such a beautiful passage, and it stands the test of time. And if we flip that on its head and we look at the opposite of patience and kindness, we find underneath that what abuse is, what abusive behavior is: impatient, unkind, cruel, envious, boastful, proud, self-seeking, rude, easily angered, keeps a record of wrongs, delights in evil, rejoices in lies, always attacks and mistrusts, causes someone despair, and fails their partner miserably. So that's another passage that you can rely on if somebody is struggling with this notion of, I'm feeling like I'm not free in my life anymore. I'm having pieces of my identity chipped away at me. I feel miserable, almost like I don't want to wake up in the morning anymore. But how can I leave? My husband says he loves me. Then you want to look at, what does love mean? And that's when you can refer to this beautiful passage in Corinthians. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love, and the opposite of these is abuse. And you might also refer a care receiver to a wise man and a Christian psychologist, Henry Cloud, who tells a wonderful story. You can look it up on YouTube. And he quotes the story when you're dealing, like, there's wise men, fools, and evil ones. And the wise men and the fools, okay, you can work with them, because we're all wise sometimes and foolish sometimes, aren't we? But when you start to head into that evil territory, that's when you want to protect yourself, get protection, seek protection from the law. But basically, it's not about negotiation, settling, couples counseling when you're brushing up against evil. It's about protecting yourself. So this is from a sermon, a very wise sermon that was delivered at Menlo Church in 2018. And here's some direct quotes from it. 95% of Christian women who attend Christian churches have never heard a sermon declaring abuse is wrong. Submitting to abuse and continuing to endure it is not biblical, not godly, not Christ-like, not God's will, not right. If you are in a marriage or a relationship and there is physical aggression and you are a victim of abuse, get out, get safe. Violence against a victim is evil and wrong. The abuse of a person for sexual gratification is evil and wrong, and the church ought to be the first to say so. I thought that was very brave and very well said. So, just as abuse is a learned behavior, so is love.